Welcome. You're listening to New Day Talk Radio, where every day is a new day. You're listening to Consulting to Win with your host, Ralph White.
Welcome to the Ralph White Consulting to Win New Day Talk Radio Show. I'm here today with Leanne Farmer, and we're opening up the radio show to talk with you about consulting, business consulting, and it's our first show on the air, and we're excited about the opportunity of being with you today. And the purpose of our show is to give you an experience of business consulting. We're with Possibilities Unlimited, and we've created this show to share with you what it's like to work with business coaches. I've been a business coach for the last 18 years, and I've worked with over 5,000 business owners and managers during that time period, all the way from doctors, lawyers, CPAs, consulting companies, business contractors, all different type of businesses, all the way up to American Express. I've done a lot of different types of work with, quite a variety of companies, and I work with people in causing what we call a breakthrough in their business. And we define a breakthrough as an unpredictable result, something that's beyond what they're expecting, something that's they haven't designed or haven't really created before. And so that's what we're really here to accomplish with you. And Leanne, why don't you introduce yourself today?
Thank you, Ralph. I'm Leanne Farmer, and it has been my privilege to be able to work with Ralph over the last 9 years in Possibilities Unlimited. I have partnered with him and assisted in a lot of special assignments working with clients, and my primary expertise is in financials and budgeting and working with clients to develop accounting plans, and also on the work-life balance. So we have a lot of joint experience in that area, and Ralph, I can assure you, is a highly experienced business coach, and we'll have a lot of interesting things for us to go over today. Excellent,
excellent. So we really want to give you the opportunity to, like I said, to experience working with a business coach. And if you like to call in today, our call-in number is 310-424-9189, so feel free to call in and ask questions. We're going to go over some questions that we've received from clients in the past, and so you can listen and experience the coaching and in our conversation between Leanne and myself. But we're going to, so I'll be doing some examples of coaching, and our purpose is for you to get a feel for what it's like in the back and forth conversation of a coach working on a business question, an example of a business question. And our topic for today is designing your business for profit. So we're going to look at that aspect of business. So Leanne, give me an example of some of the questions that we've experienced.
Well, we get a lot of things across the board because we do work with so many different kinds of companies with varying levels of expertise. And sometimes what we find is working with someone who has an expertise in contracting or owning a restaurant. They know an awful lot about running a restaurant and cooking, but they don't know a lot about the business side. And some of them have never really taken the time to think about profit. So perhaps, Ralph, what we need to do is start with the question of what exactly is profit and why do I need to be thinking about it?
That's an excellent question. You find that people are really good at what they do in their business. Very good technicians. Like a doctor is very good at being a doctor, or a dentist is very good at being a dentist, or as you're saying, in a restaurant, they could be very good at being a cook, but they didn't get taught the skills of being a business owner. They may have gone to chef school, but they didn't actually get a class in how to run a business. Like myself, I actually got a degree in business administration, but it didn't teach me how to run a business. So it's an excellent point. The skills of actually running your business, how to make a payroll on Friday, how to make sure the checks don't bounce at the bank, how to deal with managing people. Those are very difficult challenges, that don't get necessarily taught in classes in school. So your question about how what is profit? Profit is what's left over, the difference between sales, the income of the business, minus the expenses, your costs, is the profit at the bottom line of the business. And oftentimes people look at that like that's what's left over is what I get to keep, And I don't actually like that particular way of looking at it, because most people look at that, I go into business, I work real hard, I deliver a good product, and in the process, I pay my bills, I pay my employees, and I get kind of like what's left over. And, I don't like that perspective. I like to turn the business upside down and look from the perspective of what is it that I want to make as a business owner. I like to design the business from the bottom line. So it's like, okay, I'm going to business to make $200,000 a year. That's what I want. And then I like to design the business from what has to happen in order for me to get that. And I drive it from there and push up, what are my expenses going to be? What are my costs going to be? And therefore, what are my sales have to be in order to produce that result? And then rather than me working hard for a year to find out that I didn't get what I wanted, I actually build a model that says, okay, sales have to be here, my expenses are here, in order for me to get what it is I want.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to remind our listeners, again, that call-in number is 310-424-9189. If you want to talk to Ralph today on the phone, he'll take your calls. Also want to let you know if you want to learn more about Possibilities Unlimited, Ralph and myself and our team of consultants, check our website at www.consulting2win. That's consulting and the number 2win.com. Ralph, you've given us kind of the basis of what is profit and why it's important. And I guess probably the next logical question would be, what are the keys to becoming profitable? What are the keys? What do I need to be working on to make my business profitable?
Well, some of the key elements to making a profit, the factors that go into it are, a good accounting system. You've got to have a system in place to account for the numbers. A good pricing system, where you're estimating your costs. A good forecasting system, where you're forecasting, what your sales and your expenses are going to be, where you're projecting and budgeting into the future. And then a good measuring system where you're estimating, what your costs are, and you're actually tracking them. Those are 4 key elements that are essential in a business, and they're often overlooked in managing a business. So it's accounting system, an estimating system, a forecasting system, and a measuring system.
So if I'm using an estimating system, what does that actually mean? What kinds of things do I need to be estimating?
Well, you want to be estimating, what are your costs going to be? You want to be estimating, let's go back to your restaurant. You want to estimate, how much is my labor going to be? Restaurants are very interesting businesses in that there's a lot of places for your profits to leak out in a restaurant. You can lose profits in waste. You can lose profits in, if you're selling food and alcohol. People can drink up your profits. They can eat up your profits. They can pour your profits in the garbage. They can steal your profits. Profits. They can sit down and waste time, and or you can buy more labor than you need, and your profits can disappear. So there's a lot of areas. Restaurants happen to be a business that you have to very tightly manage your numbers in order to make a profit. I've worked with a number of restaurants, and it's in order to really be successful in that type of a business, you must have these kinds of systems in place to be successful. If you're not on top of your numbers, high probability that you can lose a lot of money fast in a restaurant.
And would that hold true for just about any type of business?
Just about any type of business, because people, contractors, for instance, if they're not estimating how much their material costs are going to be, if they're not estimating how much their labor costs are going to be, it's really estimating is establishing an expectation. If you're not establishing an expectation, for how much labor it's going to take to make something happen, it's sort of like saying to someone, I go buy me a lunch, and handing them your credit card. You could, if you don't give them an expectation, they could come back with a lunch from McDonald's and cost you $10, or they could come back with a steak lunch with a very expensive wine and cost you $100. If you don't give them an expectation, have no idea how much money they're going to spend. So in estimating is where in your business you're designing what that expectation is going to be. And that's critical, because if you're not establishing the expectation and determining the cost, you don't control the costs, and therefore you're not budgeting, you're not creating profits.
So let's say I have all my estimates figured out. Then what do I do with that information?
Well, estimating then fits into the forecasting, because once you've estimated what your costs are going to be, you can then forecast them into how much profit you're going to make. Because
Right.
you can't figure out how much profit you're going to make, until you've got some kind of estimate of your costs.
And that kind of links back to your concept of designing the business for a profit.
Correct.
Planning in advance how much profit do I want to make, and then backing all these numbers together.
Correct. People, again, it goes back to the concept of build a model in advance. People go into business and then they work hard. The clients I work with, they call me up and they say things like, I don't have enough time. People I work with are busy people. They're working hard. I don't get anybody call me up and say, I don't have anything to do. I'm just sitting around, looking for something else to do. They call me up and saying, I'm working hard. Usually I don't have any money, and I'm working very hard, and I'm not making money. And when I start looking at it with them, they typically don't have a plan. They haven't built a model, and they're not making money. That's typically what I encounter. When I get them to start and take the time to build a model, they discover that what they're currently doing is not going to make them money. And when they put it into the model, they realize that the path that they're on is not heading them to where they want to go. When they build a model, it's sort of like they discover, like in making a map. Like, they say that I want to go to San Diego, and then when they make a map, they discover that the direction that they're headed in is they're going to Tucson. And they can't get to San Diego headed to Tucson. And so they're faced with the choice of either, change the plan and say I'm going to Tucson, or redirect themselves and get back on the path going to San Diego.
Right. And that's really where a coach can help a business kind of staying on that map to San Diego, right?
Definitely. It really gets people redirected. It gets them back into, are you committed to going to San Diego? And if so, let's get back on the path. Let's make, it's like in my car I have one of those, the navigation systems where the lady says, make a U-turn and get back on the path. Recalculates and gets me back on the path, and then it just keeps recalculating. It's like A coach is very much like that navigation system. Each week when I talk to the client, I don't say, you're bad and wrong or stupid. I keep telling them that, get back on the path. Let's recalculate and get back on the path.
Right, right. Again, I want to give you that phone-in number to our listeners. You can call in right now at 310-424-9189. You can also phone our office after the show at 310-374-5976 if you'd like to set up a time to talk to Ralph or one of our other consultants. And look for us on the web at www.consulting2win. That's consulting, the number 2win.com. Ralph, we talked a lot about numbers, and again, kind of circling back to people that are not traditionally numbers familiar, but are trying to run a business. Some of this can be intimidating, putting together accounting systems and estimating systems and projections. Where would you tell them to start?
It's interesting. I've worked with a number of people that, when I start with them, they typically they'll start out and say, I don't understand numbers. I don't like numbers. I'm in business, but I really don't want anything to do with numbers. And I tell them, well, you're in a game that is, run by numbers.
Right.
And really business is a game that you cannot win doing one thing really, really well. You can be a great publicist. You can be the best publicist on the planet, and in the game of being a publicist, and not win the game of business by being great as a publicist, but not being able to manage your business with numbers. So you can't win this game by doing one thing really, really well. You have to be able to do many things well in order to win this game. So you actually have to develop the muscle of doing a number of different things well to win the game of business. So you have to be able to do numbers. You have to be able to sell. You have to be able to deliver. You have to be able to collect. So you have to develop the muscle in those areas. Once you develop the muscle in those areas, once you've built a machine that can, in fact, deliver in all of those areas, then you can delegate. Then you can manage other people. But if you don't know how to do it, then you don't know how to manage people. You don't know if someone else is doing it.
Right.
Particularly in the area of numbers. It isn't something that you can just hand to somebody. I mean, look at the examples of all of the actors and performers that have handed numbers to other people, and then the people take their money.
Right.
You can't hand off something that you don't know about and just expect somebody else to take it and do it for you. You have to have some proficiency at it, some understanding of it, to know that the person is doing the job right for you.
Right.
So it's really about, you got to learn something about it.
And your business coach can help you do that.
By all means, every area of your business, look at it like numbers is a language, like Spanish. You don't have to be fluent in it, but you need to know sí and no and buenos dias, and deme un taco, por favor. And enough to get something to eat and get by in order to be proficient in that arena, so you don't starve to death in order to be successful in that arena.
Right. And you're talking about knowing the language. A lot of times what we hear from our clients is a little bit of skepticism at the beginning due to the fact that they may perceive that we don't understand their business or their line of work. So how do you break through that in order to be able to help create results with your clients?
Well, I always find it interesting. The client seems to think that I have to be an expert doctor in order to work with them, in order to be a coach for them. Well, I'm not going to do the medical part of their business. They're the expert at that. I'm not. I tell the client, you're the expert as the doctor. You handle the delivery of your service. I'm the expert as a business owner. I know business. I know how to train you to be an entrepreneur. I know how to deliver in that arena. I said, but you deliver on your product. I'll deliver in the business, in the entrepreneur. I know how to be an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 12 years old. I'm now 64 years old, so that's a fair number of years at being an entrepreneur. And I've worked with thousands of businesses. I mean, I've sold everything from ear candling to yachts. So I know how to sell things, and I've worked with a wide variety of people. So I know selling, I know business, I know the functions of business. So it's not about, knowing the particular item. It's about, do you know business? Can I speak the language of business? That I can do. I don't need to know the details of the product. I rely on the client. That's what they need to do. I can support them in teaching them, the details and the facets of being a great entrepreneur.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And I think the other thing that ties hand in hand in that is the fact that we don't have a specific agenda for being part of this partnership.
Right.
We're not the ones making the product or delivering the product.
Plus, the other advantage is that by being in a certain field, you actually get locked into the way things are. If you're in a certain arena, you have this paradigm of, in my arena, this is the way we do things. So you're in this paradigm, and therefore you're sort of limited by that paradigm. What I bring is all of these other different paradigms. So there may be something that they do in the web industry that you've never considered in your industry that would work, but you don't consider it because it's not the way they do it in your industry. So you're really looking for ideas that are outside the box. In today's market, we're in a different world today. We're in a different business world today. And what you need today is a different approach. The market has changed, and we need to create a different approach. And that's what we're looking for, is different ideas.
Great. And again, that all ties back to the need to be profitable. And we've talked about the estimating and pricing. I want to talk a little bit about projections and plans. Quite often we hear from businesses that their line of work is seasonal or it's unpredictable. We can't make a plan because we never know what's going to happen. How would you respond to that?
Well, I say that he who doesn't have a plan doesn't know where he's going. And you must have a plan. It's like without a plan is like dropping someone in the middle of Los Angeles with no directions. And it's just I can't fathom running a business without a plan, without directions. It's essential to have some idea of where you're going. The value of it is having at least thought through where you're going once. Now, the thing that stops people from planning is the thought that it has to be perfect. That's what stops people. And if you give up that it has to be perfect, if you look at it as a work in process, other words, the plan is not final. It's a work in process. That's number one. Number two is that it's not carved in stone. It's a prototype. It's something that you're using to direct you. Then okay, it was something to direct you that move you in the direction of where you want to go. So it's something to provide you with an overview of what's possible. In other words, it's something that gives you a way of setting up what's possible.
Right.
So without a plan, you're just reacting to the circumstances. You haven't taken the time to look through what's possible and provided you with some kind of direction. So I always take the time to design. A plan gives you the design of what's possible.
Excellent. I think we had someone call in. I do want to give you that phone in number again. It's 310-424-9189 if you want to ask Ralph a specific question. On the projections and plans, what kinds of things, are there certain specific components that you would include in a profitability projection?
Hello, we have someone on the line?
Oh, great.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Juanita Moore, and I have a question that I'd like to get an answer to.
Certainly, please.
Okay. What I am, let me say a little bit about me for just a second.
Okay.
I'm a disabled person who cannot go out and get a job. So I was interested in the Internet businesses, and every time I go on one, I'll go into their sites, and they'll usually have this enormous down payment for information when they've already placed an ad that says free. So I've kind of come to the conclusion that maybe I should market my own knowledge, and I kind of just want to know where to begin.
What kind of expertise do you have, or what kind of experience do you have?
Life experience.
In what arena?
No, just teasing. There are two areas I can go into. One is into music. I've already written a book that is shortcuts to piano playing, or I have a knowledge of teaching voice.
Okay.
And I was wondering how I could do that. Kind of what the basics are. I know, you can't give me all the information on the phone.
Uh-huh.
But basically where to get started.
Okay. Do you have, so you would be working out of your house?
I'm going to have to, yes.
And you would be giving, what, voice lessons?
Yes, or information, yes.
Okay, so what would your product be?
Teaching like sight singing on the Internet.
Sight singing on the Internet?
Yes.
That would be interesting. How would you be doing that?
Well, first of all, they'd have to know theory. So that would be the first thing, to learn some of the basics of theory, where to move their voice to. So you'd have to know, excuse me, the notes and different things like that. So that would be kind of easy to do. But as far as actually giving them the lessons and the sounds, that's the part where I'm kind of mixed up on.
And you would do that over the Internet?
Sure.
So I'm not sure how you would do that over the Internet. I'm a little confused by your product.
Okay. First of all, you could just say, for instance, I had a website. You can go into the website and you could download the information about the theory. That's kind of easy to do. It's basically
Okay.
just telling people. And then I can do the actual singing myself of the notes and things that go along with the theory, and then they could just download that.
Okay. All right. So you have a product you want to sell over the Internet. So you're going to need a website. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So do you have someone that you have a relationship with as far as a website designer?
Well, I know a couple of website designers, yes.
Okay. Because you're going to need, that's going to cost money. Is that something, do you have the funds to do that? To build a website?
Yeah, that's just about all I have the funds for, the website.
Okay. So you might going
So
to
it would
need...
be kind of like a process of trying to get funding to get everything all set up.
All right. Well, I think you're going to have to come up with a plan first. When you're going to have to, put a plan together for it. And I'm thinking you're going to have to come up with somebody else to work with, because it sounds like you're going to need, more money, than just the website.
Okay.
Because it sounds like you're going to need,
Like a financial backer or something?
a partner with some money.
Okay. Okay.
So you'll start to look at what are the ingredients that you need. And look at you need money, You need. I'm hearing that you need a better definition of your product.
Okay.
Okay, and you start to look at it like you're. I have another call coming in. Okay.
Oh, okay. I can call back because, like I said, I'm here all the
Okay.
time.
Well, you start to look at what the items you need, and then write those down, and then start working on a plan. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you
All right.
so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Hello. Who's calling? Okay. I'm sorry. The second call. Please call back.
One more thing for Juanita, if you're still listening, next week I hope you'll turn in to listen to the show, because one of our colleagues, Bonnie Landau, will be talking about social networking, things like Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, which is another inexpensive, if not free, way for you to market your business, and certainly something for you to consider because it can be done from home and very inexpensively. So that will be coming next week on Consulting to Win Radio, Wednesdays from 11 to 12.
Right. Yeah.
Go ahead, Ralph.
Yeah, just to add a little bit more to what we were saying there. Look at, when you're starting to create a plan, look at it like you're making soup. Look at the elements of what you need. You look at, we need money, we need a website, we need a product. You look at the ingredients that you need and start identifying them, and then start looking at who do I need on my team in order to build this project, and then start looking for how do I going to get those people on the team. Hello, who's on the line?
Hi, I'm Olivia,
Yes, Olivia.
and I do real estate, and my business has been growing nicely. I buy bank-owned properties, and I do short sales. And so one of the problems is that I find that I do everything myself, and I see that that's holding me back.
Okay.
There's a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of filing, and there's a lot of accounting. As a matter of fact, I haven't even filed my taxes for 2008, and my accountant is waiting for the material. So one of the hard things I'm finding is that I can't seem to find the right person. I'm looking for someone who can do light bookkeeping and be interested in the business so that I can teach them to do what I do, so that I can continue finding more clients, finding more financing for my transactions, and continue to grow my business.
Okay. So you're looking for hiring people, correct?
Yes.
All right. So you'd like some suggestions on how to go about doing that?
Yes, but also one of the things that troubles me is that I feel like, what if I don't have enough money down the road? What if I don't have enough transactions? What am I going to do with this person? I want to start slow. I want someone to grow with me. Can I really offer somebody to just work part-time and grow with me, and that kind of thing? I just feel like I'm tied up in this dilemma. And
Okay.
Also where to find people.
Okay. Well, you have a number of different challenges tied together there. Let's pick, which one would you like to work on?
Let's find a person.
Okay, let's find a person. All right, so let me give you the answer to that one. Craigslist is a good place to look. You can advertise on Craigslist. Are you familiar with them?
Yes, I
Okay.
am.
All right, so here's a couple of things that I would do for Craigslist. I would make a list of 20 talents, qualities, and abilities that you're looking for in an individual. Just like you're making a shopping list. If you were like going to the market,
Right.
I'd write down what it is you want in that employee. So like, what's something you want in that employee?
Okay.
Give me an example of something you want in that employee.
Organized.
Okay, good. Organized. I want that shopping list, those 20 items, written down right in front of you when you're talking to that person. Okay?
Okay.
You writing this down? Because this is very
I am.
valuable. I charge a
am.
lot of money. I charge a
All right.
lot of money for doing this, okay? Okay?
Yes.
So 20 items. Okay. And then when the person comes in for the interview, I'm going to pretend that I'm interviewing you, okay?
Okay.
And I want 20 of them because in order to come up with 20, you're going to have to think about it. 5 or 6 you can come up with, but 20, you're going to have to think about it, okay?
Yes.
So when you're sitting in the interview, let's pretend I'm interviewing you. And your name again, ma'am?
Livia.
Olivia. So, Olivia, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being low and 10 being high, how would you rank yourself in being organized?
I'd say a 9.
A 9. Okay, so what would a 10 be on your scale?
I think I'm really good at organizing other people, not organizing myself.
Okay, so that
Organizing myself would be the 10.
the 10 would be good at organizing others?
No, the last 10 would be organizing myself.
Organizing yourself.
Yes, because I am very good at organizing others.
Okay, good. All right, so that would be a 10 for you. Would be organizing yourself.
Yes.
But you're looking for someone who's So the question is, my question was, on a scale of 1 to 10 for you being organized,
Right.
how would you rate yourself?
Yeah, I'd say a 9.
So
What would it take to be a 10?
for you to be a 10. What is your 10 for you being organized?
My 10 is to be able to have my desk cleared with everything away at the end of each day.
Okay, good. So that tells me that you're a very organized person. Okay, so use that shopping list to interview the person to make sure you get what you wanted, okay?
Oh. Okay, great.
All righty?
Ralph, we have another
Thank you.
caller.
That's
Can
extremely
I?
valuable. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. Next caller, please. Oh, okay. Sorry to
We're working out the kinks here on our first show, and we do want to take all your calls. So if you would happen to have us not answer the phone when you call in, please do just hang up, give us a minute to finish the call we're on, and call us back at 310-424-9189. Again, you can also reach our office or send us an email. Just go to our website at www.consulting2win. That's consulting, the number 2win.com. And feel free to email us your questions.
Yeah, just to say a little bit more about the interviewing process. So you use that shopping list to make sure that you get what you want in that interviewing process. And then over time, that will ensure the fact that you're not hiring someone that, I've made numerous errors in the interviewing process throughout the years, and I keep adding to the list each time when I've hired someone and then found I made an error, I didn't get what I was looking for. So I keep refining the list because I find during that interviewing process, I get more involved in telling the new potential employee what a great place it is to work, and I'm not paying attention to what it is I want.
Right.
So, and one other thing in hiring somebody, resumes are nice, but they're written to respond to your ad. So they're often written by other than the person that's applying. So I ignore resumes, and I do the interview, and then I test everything. So I ignore resumes, and I test everything. Test everything. Have I said that enough? Test everything.
How do you test everything?
Well, if you want someone who knows Excel, give them a test in Excel. If you want someone that can answer the phone and speaks well on the phone, put a phone in their hand and talk to them on the phone. If you want someone that can write a letter, give them a test and write a letter. In other words, if you want someone that can run a soundboard, stick them in front of a soundboard and have them make adjustments on the soundboard. Test everything. Figure out some way to test whatever it is you want them to do. You know, if they say they can take a computer apart and repair a computer, to have them take it apart and put it back together. You know, rather than, you know, have them tell you they can do it, have them go through a testing process.
Okay, good.
Okay?
Want to kind of circle back to our profitability conversation. We
Sure.
talked about the 4 keys being a good accounting system, estimating pricing system, projections and plans. We really haven't touched on then how do we measure for that? How do we tie that all together and figure out whether or not we're making a profit?
Well, good question. Measuring systems that you put in place are your accounting system. Okay, and then you put in your weekly, you've got to have some sort of systems that you're looking at on a weekly basis or a daily basis to where you've got a checking system to track the numbers, you know, that you're, you know, like for instance, your weekly accounting meetings, to where you schedule a time to look at your accounting numbers. You know, so it's like, you know, it's your accounting system. You know, it isn't something that, you know, 3 months later you look at January's numbers. You know, you should look at your accounting numbers on a weekly basis. How much money came in? How much money did I spend? You know, how much money did I put in the bank? That's something that you should look at on a weekly basis. You should look at, you know, you should set up in your calendar an occasion on a weekly basis to look at, you know, what's happening with your money. You should set up a weekly time to look at your production. You know, what did we do in the production department on a weekly basis? You should set up, you know, in the estimating department to look at it. What did we do in the estimating on pricing? You should look at in the sales department. So it's almost like you're having a meeting of the accounting, production, estimating, and sales department on a weekly basis. Now you're going to say, well, wait a minute, you know, I'm in business for myself, and I'm the only one in the business. Well, you're going to have a meeting with yourself, and I often, you know, used to think that, you know, I wore multiple hats in my business when I was, you know, I was everything. And what I'd end up doing is I'd just say, okay, I'm having a meeting with the sales department, and I'm the sales manager, and I'm looking at how much did I sell this week, you know, how much did I project, what did my budget say I was going to sell, how much did I sell, you know, am I on track? If the answer was no, what's the correction? What's the adjustment I'm going to do? And it isn't like, okay, if I was supposed to sell $10,000 this week and I only sold $8,000, it isn't like, oh, well, you know, too bad. It's like, I'm now $2,000 short. What am I going to do about that? It's like, I've got to that meant next week I got to sell $12,000 if the projection was, you know, in order to stay on plan, you know, because now I'm behind. I have to make that up in order to have the amount of income that I'm committed to for this year.
I want to stop you right there for just 1 second, because we do see this quite often, especially in these challenging economic times where it's become harder and harder to meet those projections and stay on track. And again, I think that's where a coach comes in to be your partner in not getting discouraged and to keep the business moving forward. Can you speak to that a little bit? What's the coach's role when you've not met your target and you're sitting there saying, now what?
Well, what ends up happening is most of the time the client wants to go into, I'm bad and wrong and poor me, okay? And my job is to not let them go there. Because if they go there, if they let themselves go there, then they actually let themselves off the hook. You know, it's like if they can make themselves wrong, I'm a bad person and poor me, and they can get away with that, you know, they can feel bad about it, and then they can like let it go. You know, if I can feel sorry for myself and be guilty about it, then I can pretend like I don't have to do anything about it. because I'm a bad person. I've been, it's like being a little kid. I've been bad this week. I didn't sell what I was supposed to, so shame on me, so that I can be bad this week, and then, I don't have to do anything. Well, sorry, it just that we're not going there. It's like the numbers are, we're short on sales. What are we going to do about it? I don't go there with the client. It's like we're committed to you making this amount of money. We're short, and which it means we're going to have some more actions because we're committed to you having that kind of income.
And as business coaches, that is what we are in the business of doing, is to partner with you, and we call ourselves possibility partners at
Right.
Possibilities Unlimited. We want to make sure that you do make a profit, because profit is everything. What is that you always say, Ralph, that thou shalt make a profit?
Thou shalt make a profit. The purpose of business is to make a profit now and in the future. That's what earns you the right to be in business. People go into business and they say, "Oh, well, I just want I just want to do it for the experience, or I just want to do it to contribute to people." Well, if you want to contribute to people, the more profit you make, it's a demonstration of how much contribution you're doing. If your business is highly profitable, that means you're contributing to more people, and then that gives you more money that you can then go make a donation to more people. So you can make, the more profit your business is tells me that you're touching more people, making a bigger contribution, gives you the ability to be more generous to your employees, gives you the ability to be more generous to, donations to the church or to the, whatever your charity is. So the more successful your business is, the more contribution you can make. So I realize profit is a 4-letter word, but I think it's a 4-letter word, but I don't know.
He really is good at numbers, folks.
Yes. Whatever.
Six
letter
letters.
words. It's not a 4-letter word, but
We like to transform you from thinking it's a 4-letter word into seeing it as the potential for you and your business to achieve everything that you want to achieve.
right.
Do we want to talk about what we're going to be talking about next week?
Yes, next week we're going to have Bonnie Landau with us. She's another coach on staff with Possibilities Unlimited, and she's going to be talking about social networking. She's a website designer, and she has a lot of expertise in the social networking arena. So she will be here with us. We'll also, if you have any topics that you would like us to speak about, please, by all means, send it to Ralph at consultingtowin.com, and we'll include that into our agenda. You can also check our blog. We have on our website at www.consultingtowin.com. We have a lot of the topics that we'll be talking about in the future. We already have in our blog. We have a number of valuable different subject matters there. If you're interested in setting up an appointment to have a conversation with me about coaching, you can reach us at 310-374-5976.
We'll be happy to schedule a time that
Certainly.
works for you.
Right.
Again, that website is www.consultingtowin. That's consulting, 2win.com.
Okay. So I want to thank you for listening to the show. I want to thank all of the callers for calling in. We very much appreciate your participation in the show. We're looking forward to many future conversations. It's really our intention for everyone to get an experience of working with a business coach. We really like contributing to business and having the growth of business be coming out of business coaching. So thank you very much.
Welcome. You're listening to New Day Talk Radio, where every day is a new day.
You're listening to Consulting to Win with your host, Ralph White.